Welcome to day 2. This is your pelvic floor focused full body workout. Okay, so yes, it's going to be a little bit strange and you're kind of going, how is this pelvic floor related? But we'll go over all of that. Okay, I have a chair, I have my medium dumbbell, and a yoga block. Okay, if you don't have a yoga block, that's totally okay. Just grab a stack of books or a step stool, something that you can elevate your knee on, because we're actually going to start with that. You're going to come down onto the floor. You are going to be in a hands and knees position. One knee will rest on the yoga block, and then I want you to find your body position so that your shoulders are over your wrists, your hips are over your knees. Okay, push away from the floor, find that neutral pelvis. Now, the knee that is not on the yoga block, you are going to pretend like you have a ball between your knees and you are rolling that ball towards the ceiling. Everything from your belly button up should remain square to the floor. Core should be highly engaged. You should definitely be feeling this in the lower abs. And then you might also feel a nice stretch in the hips. Okay, we're going to do 12. Think about exhale up. Making sure that you are not back behind this leg or in front. That you're nice and even and you are just kind of lifting that knee up through the back of your hips towards the ceiling. Okay, once you've done 12, you're going to switch sides. So that knee is now going on your stack of books. The other knee is going on the stack of books or your yoga block. Again, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. And then this floating leg, you are pretending it's got a ball, that it is rolling up and down your stationary thigh. Again, you're finding that neutral pelvis, so abs should be on fire. Okay, you might feel more of a stretch on one hip than the other, and that's totally normal. Just pay attention. Make sure you're aware of that, something we can work on. Also doing 12 on this side. I know this move is slightly awkward, but as you kind of loosen and open those hips, it'll get a lot better. Okay, now I'm moving the yoga block out of the way and I'm going to come to a wall. You can even do this with your chair. You can put that back foot on a chair. I just like the wall. Helps me feel a little more stable. Okay, so foot is on the wall. Quads are parallel to each other. You can drag this back foot up the wall a little bit, get a little bit of hamstring engagement, and then I want you to hinge over this planted leg. So this is my left leg. So knee is staying over my midfoot as I push my hips towards the wall behind me. I'm now going to take my arms like a pendulum, and I'm going to bring them across to the outside of this knee as this knee follows, and then I'm going to open as that knee follows. Okay, and you will dip a little bit, get a little more into this hinge when you're here, and you might straighten out a little bit as you open here, and that's totally okay. We kind of want a little bit of that rotation. But for the most part, you're pretty much staying down in that hinge. You're going to do 10 each, okay, making sure that back foot stays flat on the wall. So if you're getting to a point where that foot is rolling out, that range of motion is too big, okay? Woo! Making sure core is engaged again, okay, into that hinge. 12 on your own, and then go ahead and switch sides when you've done that. Again, it's okay if you have a little bit of movement in that planted leg, up and down. So you should feel a nice burn now, kind of to the outside of your butt on that down leg. So you're really working through this outside hip of the planted leg. So again, hinge, pendulum across, knee follows, pendulum open, knee opens. Thinking about dropping towards the floor as you come across and opening towards the ceiling as you come back to the other side. So cross your body, drop to the floor, open your body. Good. 12. Again, feeling the outside of this glute. If you're not, drop some questions below. Let me know. Let me help you troubleshoot. Film it. Okay, let's see what's going on. Good. Once you've done 12, we're going to now move on to grabbing your dumbbell, coming down onto the floor. Okay, so for this one, we're going to have two things happening. We're going to have our arm move and our legs move. Now, range of motion is not huge for the legs. So you are going to lower that dumbbell like a chest press, making sure you're not straight out from your shoulder as your knees drop to the other side. And then everything comes back up. Okay? Don't go so far that your rib cage comes fully off the floor. Don't go so far that you feel this in your lower back. You want to feel that cross connection. So my right arm is doing the chest press. My legs are dropping to the left. So that means that I am thinking about my right rib cage and my left hip. Those obliques are meeting in the middle to come back up to center. So think about that right rib cage and left hip squeezing together to help bring those knees back up. If you do feel this in your back, just shorten the range of motion. You're going to do 10 and then we're switching. Okay, so if you started out with a range of motion way down here and it started to hurt your back, just shrink the range of motion. Totally okay. Go with what your body is telling you. Listen to the core. And then just note that maybe on one side it's easier. Maybe one side you can go further. And let's work on balancing that out. Okay, so again, left arm is pressing, knees go to the right. I am using that left rib, right hip visual to bring everything back to center. Sometimes an exhale throughout can help, and then inhale here, okay? Or just exhale as you lift back up, whichever works for you. Now, keeping that dumbbell, we're gonna come to your elevated surface now. I have a folding chair, but a bench, a coffee table, being elevated on the stairs can work, okay? Now, we're gonna come into a plank position and do a row. Now, this can be quite challenging. So if your core is not there yet, you can do just a regular bent over row. If your core is there, we're doing it elevated. Maybe you can go to the floor. Maybe you're ready for that. But elevated is a great place to start and kind of test. Okay, I'm also not going as heavy as I can if I'm just doing like a regular bent over row, where I'm supported here, okay, where there's less pressure on the core. So I want more of my focus on the core, so my weight is a little lighter. Okay, you can also have your feet a little bit wider. And then we're going to come into a plank position where your shoulder is over your wrist. You do not have your booty in the air, and you are not sagging your booty down. Okay, you're finding that good length. And then you're going to row here for 10. Make sure that as you row, you don't open the body. Hips and shoulders stay down and square. Bring that dumbbell to your hip. Core is on fire. Now again, like I said, this weight is incredibly light for me for a bent over row, but boy, am I feeling that core. So for me, going to my normal bent over row weight will compromise what's happening at my core, and I probably realistically wouldn't be able to keep a good plank. So for me, this is about the core right now. If your core can handle that heavier weight and you want to work on that row, please do not hesitate. Go ahead. Make sure hips are square. They're not rolling open. Okay. Now, weight can go out of the way for this round, and we're going to stay on the elevated surface. We are going to go into what's called a T-stand. So you're going to start in that plank position again. This time, you are going to rotate and open towards the ceiling, and then come back, nail that plank, and then rotate the other way. Nail your plank, rotate the other way. You are going to do 16 total, 8 each direction. Okay, again, feet are also slightly apart, especially so that as you rotate, they are stacked or one in front of the other. Okay, and you're not rolling over each other. Now, you might have to reset occasionally in this plank. Reset the feet. That's okay. I would rather have form good here so that when you rotate, it's beautiful. Okay? As you rotate, lift that top hip nice and high. Stay over your wrist. Don't get pushed back. Okay? Eight each, 16 total. Okay, and now that is our circuit for today. I want you to do that 2 or 3 more times. Aim for 3 sets or 4 sets total. Okay, get that full workout in. You're doing great. It's only day 2, so perfect time to crank through this. And if you have any questions, like I said earlier, please don't hesitate to reach out. I am happy to try and answer them for you. And I look forward to seeing what you guys accomplish today.